What is up, guys, gals, and non-binary pals? My name is Naomi. Welcome to House of Miscellania. It is officially the new year. Happy New Year to you, however you celebrate New Year's. I have a bunch of stuff here in front of me that I want to talk about, get in through my tools, and then really get into what I want to talk about today. Tools in front of me. I have a tray from Cosmic Crafts. This is one of our sponsors for Mary Morales 2024. Isn't this adorable? The lid here has this cutie little design on it, the dragon. It says, "'Tis the season to sparkle, Mary Morales 2024. Removable lid, you gotta love that. And then this one has a removable spout. You gotta love those if you put them in the right way. There we go, right side up. I've got my tray here. I am using release papers from Lowena's Designs. These are ones that I created for Mary Morales, so those are right there. I've got a little pen set here that I'll be using primarily. I use one of them, but I end up probably will use all three, as you know. I switch around, but this one first is the ultimate pen that a prize winner for Mary Morales in the ultimate prize will win something similar to this one. As you can see, Diamond Pen Pal put an image of Ajasai inside of this pen with permission from Margaret, of course. And on the back, it has hydrangeas because it's based on Ajasai. It is so beautiful. I've also got a pen here from Flawa Designs. They've got a pen, a tray, and a trinket tray set that you can pick up from Flawa Designs. But this I always keep loaded with something special I'll get into in a moment. And then this pen from not Bijou, Jesus, I'm losing my mind. This one is from Bistro, that was close, Bistro Blanks and Bistro Exclusives LLC. This is one that they created for me. Look at it, has a dragon inside for Mizuchira. They created this special for me because I actually finished Mizuchira, and as you can see, it is just beautiful. It's a lava pen. We love those. And you know what? Bistro has so many beautiful pens that you can pick up from them. You can make them custom. They have ones on their own that they sell. Just gorgeous stuff. And then this pen holder that I have is from Zodiac Shadows. This is our event pen holder. It says Mary Morales 24-25 because it's, 2 months, right? So I'm going to set this over to the side, put my pens back in there, get into those in a minute. And as I was telling you, this one is loaded with Ghost from Diamond Painting Daily. I talk about this basically every freaking episode that I film, you guys, because this stuff is amazing. It is like creating a glue dot out of a liquid. It turns solid. It goes from white to clear, hence why it's called Ghost. It is from Diamond Painting Daily. That's the symbol you're looking for over on Etsy. I know that she is working on a restock right now, so if she doesn't have any, send her a message. I'm sure she's got some more coming. And then in my multi-placer on my ultimate pen, I have some Joy's Putty. This one is Satura. I know it says patchouli and hint of lavender. That was to let me know when we created this exactly what's in it. So patchouli and hint of lavender is the Satura scent. She also has other event scents. And then this lovely trinket tray right here from Craftspirations. I designed this beauty. Isn't it lovely? This is all my design here. And then she, of course, did the resin and whatnot, and it looks lovely. I love it. And then my little friend here, this one is from Mystic Makers. They are another one of our sponsors, and we've decided to name this little dude lady, Chroma, because it is all colors. Look at it. It's all chromatic colors, and it's perfect for Mary Morales. Mystic Makers, they make pens, they make trays, they make all sorts of stuff. Good stuff. So anyways, all of that said, you guys, it is the new year, right? And so I got to thinking, like, what do I want to talk about, right? Because I usually have something important to tell you guys about. Oh, one last important thing to tell you guys about. The painting that I'm working on is Down the Rabbit Hole by Margaret Morales. And this beauty, oh God, she's lovely, isn't she? Now I've got to make her last until the end of freaking January, you guys. And I'm taking it a little bit at a time because otherwise, you know me, I will speed right through these things. So I also have my tarot cards from Fairies Oracle. I really got to shuffle these quick because I have not done that yet. But at the end, I always read a tarot card. Last half, you know, we talk about what the tarot card says, etc. And I'm hoping it will incorporate with what we are talking about tonight. So when I record this, it's the night before, right? So for me, it is officially New Year's Eve going into New Year's Day. It's actually technically New Year's Day because I always film this really, really late at night. That's when everybody in the house is asleep and when I kind of have the place to myself, or at least mostly. Whoop, I guess that's the one we're reading. That goes on top. It fell out, so I always read the one that falls out. That's the one that's meant to be if it jumps out of the deck. So I got to thinking, okay, what do I want to talk about? Because, you know, it's the New Year's, right? And this time of year, obviously, everybody starts setting all of these New Year's resolutions. Now, I could lie to you and tell you, like, yeah, I'm going to give up soda. That's what I'm going to do this year. It would help me lose weight. My health would improve and blah, 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 whatever. And I would fail because most people do. In fact, more people fail at resolutions than succeed. And, you know, you got to wonder, like, why is that, right? Why do people fail at resolutions? Well, I think that a lot of it, I mean, there's lots of parts to that, right? Lots of parts to that question because, you know, you go in with good intentions, but I feel like that's the word right there, intention. Now, I would like to say that maybe this year, instead of resolutions, let's set some intentions. So, why do people fail at setting resolutions? Well, for me, it's always a matter of, and I don't know if it's the same for you, whether you set them, whether you don't. Some people do, some people don't care. But I feel like oftentimes people set really unrealistic expectations. Like they're really overly ambitious. Like they want to lose 30 pounds in a month, or they want to run a marathon and they've never run before. And once that starts to feel really like unattainable and overwhelming, it really just leads to early discouragement. You're like, you get through that first part of the month and those first 5 pounds haven't come off and you're like, well, shit, what am I going to do about this? You know? And a lot of times people end up giving up pretty quickly. Another one is like, I don't know, lack of specificity. That was a word. So like, you know, maybe instead of saying I want to lose 10 pounds, you just say, well, I want to exercise more. Okay, well, what does that mean? Or I want to eat healthier, but you're vague and you lack some sort of a clear roadmap on how to get there. I've been guilty of that plenty of times when setting resolutions in the past. It's not something that I do, you know, generally every year, but I've done it in the past and I've been way too vague and got nowhere. But without like actionable steps, it's really difficult to track your progress. Like, how do you know you're progressing if you didn't set some sort of, you know, like roadmap for how you were going to get to where you needed to get to? There's the color I'm looking for. So then, you know, like maybe you get into this all or nothing thinking and you want to put it as an absolute rule, like no sugar ever, or I'm going to go to the gym every single day. And then when you screw up somehow, it can feel like you failed already, and that causes a lot of people to like abandon their goals entirely. Sometimes it's a case of like your motivation just gives up. You're completely just, you get a nice head of steam at the beginning and then it just peters out really quickly. So like that enthusiasm that you had starts really strong and then it usually starts to wane as the New Year's novelty sort of wears off, and without really sustainable type habits, resolutions are really hard to maintain. Sometimes it's a matter of like you don't have any support or you lack accountability. Trying to achieve your goals by yourself is just isolating sometimes, and especially when you have challenges, like who do you turn to? What do you do? It's hard. It can be really hard. So sometimes even, you know, if you maybe had set that goal with somebody else, maybe you'd have gotten a little farther, or if you had somebody that would be support to you. And then sometimes it's like just an overemphasis on outcomes. You're worried about, you know, if you lose 20 pounds rather than being process oriented. So you're like focusing solely on the result. And then when you make small changes that maybe seem insignificant, it really just gets to discouraging a person. Now, you know, it could be lack of planning. It could be, you know, you're trying to do something that's a societal pressure rather than something that really you feel strongly about. Could be just the neglecting of flexibility, meaning like, you know, life is unpredictable. And if you have these really rigid goals, you're not accounting for these sometimes unexpected challenges. So like, okay, let's say you've got, you know, fitness in mind and you have an injury. Well, then you end up abandoning things, whatever, because you're not planning for those things that can happen, life happening around you, right? Oop. Oh, that's why. I'm like, why'd that just come right off? Because it's cupped. So I'd like to think that instead of setting resolutions, instead setting intentions, right? Now, I have made for several people, and I'm working on still, some intention pens for various reasons that they had, you know. And so intention to me is wildly important. Making sure that, you know, when I know what somebody needs or wants for an intention, I try to put that into the pen for them so that they can start setting intentions for themselves. There it is. It's a way of focusing your own energy in a direction and going for it. Now, I also feel like intentions rather than resolutions are like more compassionate and to yourself, and like an effective means of self-improvement. It's self-improvement with purpose rather than a resolution that could and probably will fail. So what exactly are intentions? Well, it's a mindful, flexible, and value-driven commitment to whatever you're looking to do. For instance, like maybe intentions would focus on your journey rather than the specific result. So instead of losing 20 pounds, you could say, I want to nourish my body with healthy choices. It's being mindful. It isn't saying I'm going to lose 20 pounds. It's saying I'm going to make better choices. A completely different thing. Now, the other thing with regard to intentions and them being more beneficial to you, like mentally, it reduces a lot of pressure on yourself. It increases your self-compassion, and we know I'm very, very, very about self-compassion. and then, sorry, my brain just went bleh. And then you're really growing in a personal and important kind of way. So what exactly does it mean to set an effective intention? Well, I am a big writer. I used to write everything by hand until my carpal tunnel really did a number on me, and that slowed my handwriting down by quite a bit. I miss it intensely because I always felt like writing things by hand, I don't know why, it just felt more serious, I guess, or more important. Wish I could do more of it. But that being said, you could start with something as simple as journaling, right? And let's say that you start with some kind of a prompt like, what brings me joy? And expand on what brings you joy. It could be anything. You could have something like, what makes you feel fulfilled? And expand on the things that make you feel fulfilled. Is it creating something? Is it, strengthening your bonds with your friends? Is it strengthening your bonds with your family? What makes you feel fulfilled? Or it could be, what do you want more of in your life? Maybe there's something that you feel like you're lacking, or something that you feel like maybe you're not necessarily lacking, but want more of anyways. Maybe you have lots of it, but you'd like more of it. And even just taking 10 minutes to jot something down, just being mindful of yourself and being compassionate to yourself and what you need and what you're feeling. You could create sort of broad or value-based intentions. So maybe, an example would be that you want to prioritize your mental health this year. And by doing so, you could say, need to set up with a new therapist, or need to be more honest with current therapist. Maybe it is, taking 10 minutes for yourself every day. Whatever that means, even if that's just closing your eyes for 10 minutes, or diamond painting, or whatever it happens to be, setting away 10 minutes for you. And that is what, improving your mental health means, or prioritizing, not even improving, just prioritizing. Or maybe you want to connect more deeply with your loved ones. I have been much more cognizant, and I've talked about this, that I've been much more attentive to the fact that, I sit here diamond painting and I have headphones on, and I can tend to tune out the entire world. Well, when I start to notice that someone is talking to me, I make it a point to remove my headphones and try to fully pay attention to what's being said to me, because I noticed how often, one, I was literally missing whole conversations, because I would take a headphone off one ear, listen halfway to what was being said, and then whatever, and then somebody brings something up a few days later, and I'm like, oh shit, you did say something about that. I don't remember what it was. I'm really sorry. And I realized that I was only really halfway engaging with whomever was talking to me, and I'm really trying to get better at improving those communications with my family. One, so that there's less miscommunication, and two, so that they feel as though I care, really truly care about what they're saying, because I do. I know I get into my own busy world or whatever, but that should not mean that I don't make or take time to improve those bonds with my family, because there's really going to be, you know, less and less time as my kids get older, Dustin and I get older. You know, I want to make sure that the relationships that I have are as strong as they can be while they can be that way. Or maybe you want to embrace some creativity in your daily life. And again, that could be diamond painting, or it could be as simple as, you know, picking up a coloring book, or taking up some sort of a hobby besides diamond painting that brings you that feeling of creativity in your life. And then break it down into actions. You know, maybe you can identify some like small achievable steps that align with whatever that intention happens to be. You know, if you're going to prioritize mental health, practice, like I said, mindfulness for 10 minutes a day, or schedule therapy sessions or mental health check-ins, or take regular breaks from work. I was horrible about taking breaks when at work, because really I would take a break, but I was taking a break with one of my employees, because I was a supervisor, and then we would go out there and I would listen to them bitch for 10 minutes or however long a cigarette break would take me then. And it was not like getting away at all. Actually take a break from work. Walk away, take your 10 minutes, but really take your 10 minutes for yourself. I know it can be easier said than done. I was a massive workaholic, and I didn't realize how close I was bringing myself to stroke or freaking heart attack, because I just never stopped. It was when I was home. It was when I was at work. It was everything. You gotta take that time. You really do. And then like staying on track is huge. You gotta make sure that you're maintaining these intentions every day. You know, like I said, regular reflection or journaling, or, you know, having an accountability partner. Do you know someone else or a group of people? I'm lucky in that I have what I feel like is kind of a little core group of people that I feel like I check in with pretty regularly. We, you know, check in on each other, or we can hold each other accountable if one of us has said something in the past about, yeah, I'm thinking about doing XYZ. And then the others, you know, they'll either ask about it or whatever. We check in with each other and we do hold each other accountable. Now, yes, sometimes having a friend group like that can become an echo chamber for when you're upset or you're angry or whatever. But when it comes to this sort of thing, setting an intention, having a group or having a person that you can check in with and, you know, check in about these things really can help. And then finding a way to celebrate these small wins along the way. You know, there's something to be said for making sure that you kind of pat yourself on the back. That is another thing that people do not do well. I suck at it. I really suck at taking credit for the hard work that I've put in. And then when somebody points out the hard work that I've done, I'm really, really crappy at taking a compliment. And I've really worked hard at getting better and better about that over time. It doesn't make me as uncomfortable as it used to. I'm getting better about accepting compliments because I have a rule and I hold myself to it and others hold me to it as well. Where either A, if I deflect a compliment, or if I put myself down in some sort of way, I have a rule where if somebody catches me doing it and they call me out on it, I have to give myself 3 compliments. And, you know, it doesn't sound like that much and it doesn't sound like that many, but think about it. Have you ever had somebody call you out and say, okay, you dissed yourself and now I want to hear you give yourself 3 compliments? And it is harder than it sounds, especially for a person who's not great at taking compliments in the first place. But having those moments where you do kind of pat yourself on the back and give yourself credit, celebrating those wins along the way, will get you further when it comes to setting these sort of intentions for the year. You've got to remember to give yourself that pat on the back. You really, really do. And then, addressing the importance of flexibility, remembering that life is going to throw you curveballs, just always. So remembering that, everything isn't always going to be perfect all of the time. You got to be flexible. You got to take it in stride and go with it. And it's okay to adjust an intention as needed. Maybe something that you needed yesterday, you don't need today. And that's okay too. Coming up with a new intention throughout the year or the month or the week, go with it. Go with whatever is calling to you, because it's going to get you much further than setting a resolution that's rigid, that's unforgiving, and ultimately bound to fail. And then, remember that resolutions are limiting and intentions are liberating. Nobody is holding you down. Nobody is holding you hostage, including yourself. You're not holding yourself hostage for the things that you want out of your life. It's not meant to be a prison. It's meant to be a journey, honestly. And then, like I said, focus on your values, your morals, your needs, and see where it gets you. And remember to be compassionate to yourself, because all of us fail. In fact, failing is learning. Failing is trying. I cannot stand a person who tells me straight up that they won't even try because, they're scared of failure or whatever. That failure is a lesson. Man, oh man, have I learned some spectacular lessons. I'll tell you that much. But remember that, you've got people, even if you don't think you have people. If you ever need somebody to cheer you on or challenge you or help you set some sort of an intention goal, holler at me. I'm happy to throw ideas your way or listen to what you've got to say and give you some thoughts or some ideas. Shout me out. I'm easy to get a hold of. I'm here. I'm on Discord, any old time. Just say, hey, you got 5 minutes? I got a question for you. I can set aside 5 minutes. Trust and believe. I have no problems doing that. Now, I have my tarot cards, and I am super curious as to what that card was that jumped out of the deck and was like, read me. Let's find out what it is, okay? Because I need to know. Let me set these diamonds over here. Let me get a drink of my soda. I know, terrible. But something's got to keep me awake to do this whip and chat with you. Okay. Top card is the one that flew out of the deck at me, so I'm curious to see what this is. And this is the correct way. We flip it over. The Glankener? The Flankener? I don't know what that's. I got to get into the book because that's some fancy script. Look at this guy. He looks angry, doesn't he? He looks very angry. Let's find out. Glankener? I don't know what that means. Hold on. Number 62. 62. Yeah, the Glankener. The Glankener. Illusion, delusion, lust, projection, and clear sight are the key words. Let's see. It is not good to make decisions when blinded by lust. Whether it is lust for a person, a thing, or an idea, we need to pause and take our time before making actual commitments. We need to read the fine print, check out the foundations, get a mechanic to test the so beautiful secondhand car. If we are considering buying something, we can refuse to let ourselves be rushed into it and take time to make sure it is really what we think it is. If we are considering making a commitment to other people, we need to take our time and really get to know them much better. This is another lesson in seeing the truth behind a beglamored surface, though in this case, it is we who have to cast the glamour. So I feel like I get this. I'm sitting here kind of thinking about it, you know, what it is to be like, to want something so badly that you're kind of blind to whatever the mistakes of the thing are or whatever the flaws of the thing are. And I can tell you that a not small number of times in my life I have rushed to you know, doing a thing or buying a thing or dating a person, or wow, bacon shook my whole planet over here, without really considering all of the facts. And I feel like even in some ways with regards to like wanting this channel to work well and wanting it to be successful and pushing really, really hard at the start, I think almost unrealistically, to, you know, pushing it to be successful. And I'm being honest with myself and being honest with you all. There was a thing that I really wanted early on in the channel, and a lot of the reason that I started the channel was to have a specific relationship, and that didn't work out. And it wasn't even like it, how do I put this? It wasn't even like a thought in my mind that because I'm ambitious, that once I attained it, that it would ever falter or fail, because I know what I'm good at, right? And I can tell you that because I didn't take the time maybe to really look at things objectively, I hopped in with both feet, and then when it failed, it hurt bad. Oh, it was terrible. And I'm still really like trying to get over that, because I still, in this situation, I don't know what I did wrong, because the other party wouldn't respond to me, and I felt like everything was great, and I guess it wasn't. I don't know. And you know, it's one of those things that everyone tries to do, and some people get to, some people don't. And then there's like this feeling afterward where I'm like, well, what the hell? I'm just as good as, if not better than, this person or this person. And then I realized I was doing myself so much damage by focusing so hard on what others were doing, or how well others were performing, or what other people's subscriber counts were, or what other people were, you know, how they were affiliating or whatever. And I had to stop and really think to myself, like, is that why I started this channel? Was subscribers, and for this particular relationship, and for like this particular thing? And in a way, yes. And I realized right then that was the wrong reason. Like, if that was the reason that I was going for all of this, then it was the wrong reason. And if I'm going to keep going with this, then I have to set myself some realistic intentions, right? I needed to set some realistic goals. I needed to, I needed to work on what my intentions with the channel were, rather than working on the resolutions for the relationships that I wanted to build. And it was, I think, when I finally realized that, one, the other party was not going to respond to me. They were not going to, let me know what had happened. I just needed to get over it. And it's hard because, like, there's still crap mixed in there. But that relationship does not define who and what this channel is. Because really, when I got to thinking about, like, what do I want this channel to look like for these WIP and chats specifically, that was where I really feel like I found my footing in understanding, one, tempering expectations and looking at the thing from all aspects and all sides by really studying everything. I realized, like, wait a minute, Naomi, you wanted to talk about mental health, you wanted to talk about recovery, and you wanted to try and reach one person, even one person. And yes, I've done that. That doesn't mean goal achieved, Naomi. There are still people out there who need to hear a message of recovery. And trigger warning, okay? I got some bad news this morning. New Year's Eve morning it was. Trigger warning. I'm going to talk about on life, okay? So if you don't want to hear about that, then maybe skip ahead toward the end, what have you. I'll give one of these when I'm done talking about it, okay? I got some bad news this morning wherein one of my kids, both of my kids actually, both of my kids had a physical education teacher when they were in middle school, and this physical education teacher, on the 25th, on Christmas, decided that he didn't want to be in the world anymore, okay? That is as much as I'm going to say about that. He had struggled a lot with alcoholism, and the problem was that, you know, he had all of these DUIs. It started out as a couple of DUIs, ended up a third DUI, whatever, fourth, however many it took. He got a, it was like DUI, whatever, went to prison, got arrested, went to prison, did prison time, because in the state of Wisconsin, they take that kind of seriously. And he did some prison time. He lost his job as a physical education teacher, which was like just everything to him. And I think that's where his spiral started. And anyone who has struggled with addiction or alcoholism knows that it's not as simple usually as you decide to quit and you quit. It really isn't. I mean, I'm a horrible example because I am a person who has stayed resolute since my first rehab stint. But that's not everybody. Like, I am not every addict. I am not every alcoholic. I am not, most people relapse. Most people fail at least once. And you know, that whole like relapse is a part of recovery. I don't say that. I won't say that. I don't believe that relapse is a part of recovery. However, it is unrealistic to expect that a person who struggles with addiction or alcoholism is not going to mess up, because probably they will. It's how they handle those relapses, whether it's a slip or a full-on relapse. It's really like up to the person to kind of determine what to do next once they've screwed up. And this particular person really felt like everything that what meant something to him was lost. And to have made, I wish that I could have told him what he meant to my kids in school, because he always made kids feel worthwhile. And my kids were much like their mom, just a couple little weirdos, you know. But would that have changed things? I don't know. I don't know. But what I do know is that even when you feel at your lowest, even when you feel at your loneliest, there are people. There are people that you can turn to, people that you can talk to. The one thing that I want known is that we are not our mistakes. We are not who we are when we're sick. And all you can do, all that you can do is try, you know, make your amends, work your steps, ask for forgiveness, and keep showing people that you are not the sick person that they know. And it's not easy. It isn't easy, and it's not been easy. It's not like just because I've stayed sober this whole time that everything is a cakewalk. It isn't. I still have struggles. I still have downfalls. I still have all of these issues that go along. There's still things that I want that I'll maybe never get. But I know that I will never get them. Not ever will I get them. One, if I don't try for them. And two, if I'm not here to try. And so I want you to know, if you or someone else that's close to you is struggling, there are places and people that can help you. If it is for prevention of any sort of, let's say, permanent actions, you can text or call 988, which is the prevention hotline. I am dead serious when I say that if you need me, if you would like to talk to me, reach out to me in any way that you deem fit, that you can reach me. I will respond to you. And if you need to just talk, if you need to unload, if whatever, trust and believe that I have an entire group of people who are willing and able to at least give you enough time to let some crap out before you make a very permanent solution for a temporary problem. I do feel terribly for his kids that are still here, because that's a very selfish action. Like I said, a permanent solution to a temporary problem. But do I know whether or not if I'd just been able to talk to him, it would have changed anything? No, I don't. I don't know that. But I know that if you are listening right now and you have breath in your body, that there is still time. So truly, use hotlines, use friends, or make new friends who are willing to let you speak and are ready to listen. But make sure that you're also ready to stop making excuses. Because it's not about putting up with that bull. And you got to know it too, right? I have to say, like I've said before, and I'm going to say it again because it bears repeating. When I started this year, I had no one, really, aside from my kids and Dustin. I had no one. There are a couple of people in my life that I feel very, very, very strongly about. They're my friends, or they're more like family, that have stayed in touch with me, but I don't see them. They live in other states or whatever. We don't talk as much. I really didn't have anyone. And it wasn't until I allowed myself to be vulnerable and I started this channel that I actually found you guys. I found you guys. And while it is not, I mean, I don't know you and you don't necessarily know me. Maybe you do a little or whatever, or you know me from listening to me, or you feel like you know me, and that's okay. I want you to feel like you know me and to feel comfortable and to say, hey, I need somebody. I need something. I could not have gotten through this year if it were not for you. I know that sounds crazy because I've never spoken to some of you, right? Or I've only seen words from you in text and I haven't actually spoken to you before. But I'm being honest when I tell you that I needed you, and I didn't know I needed you until I had you and I went, oh my God, this is the most wonderful feeling to have someone to just listen to me, or to feel like someone cares what I have to say or whatever. Like I feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing right now in passing along a message of sobriety, in passing along a message of good mental health, of passing along a message of, well, thank you, Beans, of passing along a message of care and love and respect. I feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and I wouldn't even have it if it weren't for you guys just listening and caring. And even if there's one person listening, hey, thank you for being here. And thank you for giving me something I didn't even know I was lacking until I found it. And when it comes to that card, That is one thing that I am scared to lose. It isn't notoriety. It isn't fame, because it's not fame. Not really. You don't even know what I look like necessarily. Maybe I've shown pictures to a couple of people of what I look like. I'm a coward who won't show my face. But that you at least give a shit about what I have to say, it does mean a lot. And I am not the kind of person who minces words. I'm not the kind of person who tries to blow smoke up asses. I'm not the kind of person who walks this path of do as I say, not as I do. I like to think that I hold myself accountable first before anybody else has to. And I want you to know that it means the world to me that I have your encouragement and I have your support and I have your friendship. In some cases, I can't tell you what it means. Really can't. You guys, I'm trying to think of what else. Because thank you doesn't seem large enough. It really doesn't. It doesn't seem large enough, but may have to suffice for now, you know, because I don't have gajillions of dollars, or I would buy you all a jet ski. Have you ever seen a sad person on a jet ski? Hell no, you haven't seen a sad person on a jet ski. You're amazing. But I am going to wrap it up because, you know, it's getting close enough to the hour, and I would like to, you know what, I'd like to remind you of this. Okay, so I know that we are always hardest on ourselves, right? Hardest and most terrible to ourselves. I love my dogs, I love my cat, I love my pets. Sometimes my dogs and my cats, my pets, they mess up and they do naughty things or stupid things or whatever, just dumb crap, because they're animals and they make mistakes, right? Now, if my dogs make a mistake, especially like Beans, for instance, he's humongous. When he does something that's naughty, my first reaction is not going to be to smack my dog. One, because I'm not trying to make a 150 pound murder machine. Two, he probably forgot what he did already, and my punishing him is probably only reinforcing a punishment about the thing that he's doing right then and there. Like if he had peed on the floor, which he doesn't do, but if he had done that earlier and I find it and I just start screaming at him, he's not going to know what he's being screamed at for. He doesn't remember that he peed on the floor necessarily. Sometimes they do, but if it's not something that I would punish my dog over, right? Mistakes. Why am I punishing myself? Be easier on yourself. And I harp on it, and I'm going to harp on it now because it's important that you practice self-compassion. Be kinder to yourself today than you would normally be yesterday. Because, like I said, the fact is we are all going to fail over and over and over again. And it is not in the failing. It's not in the failing that determines who we are or what we are. It is how we recover from those missteps. Henry Ford has a beautiful quote, and I love it so much. Failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently. It's true. It's a reminder that failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of the process. you got to just keep going. You got to put one foot in front of the other and determine to be more intelligent this time. Do it the same, but do it better. Do it the same, but do it smarter. You got this. And remember, don't set resolutions, set some intentions. As the card said, take a second look at a thing, or a third or a fourth look, and take your time making decisions, because just because you want it doesn't mean you have to get it, right? Just because you can doesn't mean you should. That, very much that. You guys are amazing. Thank you for being here with me. I'll be celebrating a year on this channel in March, I think. Yeah, March. That's coming up in a few months. It's crazy. But this has been an amazing 9 months with you, and thank you for being a part of it with me. I can't believe how much this channel's grown. You guys, as ever, Happy New Year to you. Welcome to 2025. Doesn't even seem possible. And as ever, I hope that wherever you are in this great, big, beautiful world, that you are having a terrific, outstanding, wonderful, sexy, maybe not sexy. Okay, you could have a sexy morning, evening, or afternoon, whatever time it is, wherever you are. All right, you guys, I'll talk to you again soon, okay? Bye-bye.